What's up? This is Fuel for Days coming at you with a new review of Granny's apple pie. So I got this about a week ago. I was sick for a week, so I didn't want to waste time. I wanted to try it. So I already opened it. I opened this one. I already opened Honeyberry. I opened Isaac's Tears. I've already tried those three, but I'm gonna make reviews on those just to show you my thoughts. A lot of times when I've tried something first, and then I tried a couple times and then do the review. I've only done it once. I think it was for Sugar Plum. And I liked the way my review came out because I had time to taste it, time to think about it, things to enhance what I could have done different. My thoughts become a little bit more clear when I have a little bit of time. So Granny's apple pie here. Whose granny is it? Is it a granny who can't cook? Is it my granny? My granny could cook. Is it a granny who goes onto the internet and just finds your basic apple pie recipe? Or is it a granny who goes in and finds a little bit more of a 4-star dining recipe apple pie? I love to cook. If I wasn't in the career I'm in now, I probably would have been a personal chef. Love it. That's my passion. That's my hobby, is cooking. I like to make things a little bit more enhanced than just your basic apple pies. Or anything I do. I try to add a little bit of extra something to make you go, ooh, what is that? So what kind of apple pie is this, is your question. Is it one that has caramel in it? Is it one that has a streusel on top? Which this one, based on the picture, it doesn't. How did they cook the apples? Did they just cook them with cinnamon and sugar? Or did they put in like star anise? Did they put in nutmeg? Stuff like that. Stuff that enhances apple pies. Let's check it out. I've already had it, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking. Inside the tub, you can see little brown black flakes in there. I think that's the cinnamon that's in here. They had that also with like peach cobbler, which I think peach cobbler is maybe my favorite milk-based flavor, except for confetti cake in chocolate milk. Confetti cake in chocolate milk to me is like a chocolate cake, but peach cobbler is my favorite, second favorite. It smells like apples with some cinnamon and sugar. It smells like apple pie. It pretty much smells like an apple pie. Just got done. It's like an apple pie candle. Because an apple pie, true apple pie, has more of the pastry smell to it. This one smells more like the apple pie candle, which will like have the smells of apple pie, the feeling more, which is what this is. I smell more the feeling of apple pie, which is good because I love apple pie feeling. But smells good, nice, sweet. See the cinnamon in there, so it's gonna have cinnamon there. All right, let's mix it up. All right, nice and mixed up very well. It has the color of apple pie feeling. Maybe a little bit less dark. Maybe it could be a little bit darker in a sense for actual apple pie. It has a little bit more darkness to it. But you can tell it's going to be an apple pie flavor just by looking at it. All right, so the smell has an apple type smell. I don't really get much apple pie smell in here because a lot of apple pie has the cinnamon, the sugar. I mostly just get the apple. Maybe a little bit of caramel-ish, maybe, possibly. Not any crust or anything. But it doesn't smell like Liquid Lullabies. Liquid Lullabies had more of a robust caramel smell. But the apples, I think, are similar. I don't really get much tart smell because a green apple would be tart. I really don't get much tartness to it. All right, that's the smell. Let's check it out. All right, so I've made a lot of apple pies in my day from scratch. I make everything from scratch. I might be refugee fuel for you guys, but I love to cook. So I make everything from scratch. I hand roll the pie crust. I cut the apples. I put it inside the pan. I put it with butter and cinnamon, sugar, all the different other notes that also can make a pie better, such as some nutmeg. If you really want to up it even one more step, You put a little star anise in there. How deep do you want this color to be? Do you cook it down more dark and get more of a dark caramel type taste? Or do you do it just enough to coat the apples and make the apples cooked? So it depends on what you want to be is what you're gonna put extra in there. So for this, I think they made it where it's just a basic apple pie. You go to the store, go to the frozen food section and get like a Marie Callender's, for instance. Marie Callender's is your quintessential apple pie, okay? Now, if you go to somewhere like in Vegas and go to a upscale place, their apple pies are to another level now. Now they've got a different kind of darkness to the caramel. Maybe they put different things like star anise in there. Things that will make it stand out from other apple pies. This apple pie is your basic apple pie. So think of an apple pie at your basic like diner. I'm not talking about like a diner that is homemade making stuff. I'm talking about diners that go and just mass produce things because they have to sell a lot of it and they don't have much time or much help to make things just so much more unique. That's what this is. It's a very basic apple pie, but I don't think you can really go too hard when it comes to a drink. If you want everybody to know it as apple pie, you do exactly what they did. You put a little, first off, I think they could have made it a little more tart. I think they could have made it where the apples are the green apples. I'm tasting more of a Red Delicious type apple. Some kind of red apple. I'm not really tasting much tartness. Like a lot of times a apple pie is more on the green apples. I also taste a little bit of cinnamon, but it's not like a cinnamon where like an apple pie has more robust cinnamon in it, or it should. You should have a little bit more cinnamon in your apple pie. Kind of think of like, Cinnabon. If you ever had Cinnabon cinnamon rolls, to me, they're like the best cinnamon rolls. Why? Because they really go hard in the paint when it comes to their filling. They really put a lot of cinnamon sugar in there to make that cinnamon stand out. I don't think they put enough cinnamon in this. I could taste how the apples are coated in like a caramelly but they didn't cook it to it's a dark caramel. But it's just there. Kind of like the butterness, the buttery caramel. Because there's different ways to make caramel. There's caramels where you just put sugar and cook it till it's darker and just keep nice and slow, stirring it until you think it's where you want it to be. How dark do you want it to go? Or you can put more butter in there. You can put a little bit of heavy whipping cream or heavy cream in there. Makes it more of a smooth caramel I think what they did here is they just kind of went with the taste of your basic apples, a little cinnamon, sugar, maybe brown sugar. It'd have to be brown sugar too. And a little bit of butter, but they didn't really cook it down a lot and add a lot of the extra stuff in it. Cinnamon. I don't really taste such like a nutmeg in there. I wish they put a little bit of nutmeg type taste in there. If they want to go another level, make like a star anise, but maybe people wouldn't notice the little idiosyncrasies of that. But for a pie flavor, it's great. Guess what it's missing though? You know what's missing? Is the crust. I'm not really getting much crust. Nah. No. Not enough crust. If any. Very faint. I think they should have went with a little bit more crust, a little bit more cinnamon, and maybe a little extra note in there, like a nutmeg. For an apple pie, they did good. They made your basic apple pie. Here's Marie Callender's. Sorry, I know I shouldn't say that, but it's your little basic Marie Callender's inside of a glass, a shaker. But they didn't add enough of a little extra over top notes to make it stand out from just your basic apple pie. Something I would do. And something all chefs, true culinary chefs, add a little bit of extra stuff just to make it, bam, yours. It makes it your apple pie instead of everybody else's apple pie. But you want an apple pie to drink? Get it. It's good. It's definitely good. But guess what? I cook better than this granny because my apple pies taste better than this. But they could have made a better apple pie. But it's a good one. So, what do I rank it? I give it a 8 out of 10. It's good. It's definitely good. And I also had it in milk too. I had it in milk and it was good in milk also. But it kind of made it taste just like sweet milk with a little bit of apple in it. I think if they would have had more cinnamon, then it would have tasted more like an apple pie through the milk. Instead of just like a sweet apple-y milk. But, all right, so good. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next review of Mango Lemonade. The most hype I've ever been of any flavor. Not just because of the flavor, but because of who it's for. Shock, awesome. I'm so happy for you. So we'll see you on the next one.